There are a couple of ways of looking at this poem, and I think the use of tone as a tool helps. How does the poet approach the poem? What is his point of view? What is his stance? Where does he speak from? That's where we get the notion of tone from. Well, if you look at the red underlined words here, you'll notice that some of these are potentially hot button issues like whiskey, death, battered, scraped, beat. Those are words, if taken out of context, could indicate that perhaps this is a poem whose tone is rather dark and maybe even hinting at abuse. Perhaps there was some. But if you look at the green highlighted words, and if you consider those as well, you might also say that this is a poem not about abuse, but about a funny night, some grotesquely comic thing that happened in a household. Is it possible to have both? Yes, I think so. But I think that the happy tone, the comic tone, predominates. Look, for example, at the words dizzy and easy. Very powerful words. Not really. They're kind of funny words. It's kind of a funny rhyme. And he's waltzing the whole time with his father. So you've got actually a 3/4 time in this beat. If you look at in this poem, if you look at the beat, the whiskey on your breath, there's 3 beats in there. My mother's countenance, there's 3 beats. You beat time on my head. There's 3 beats there, 3 accented lines. So it is a bit of a kind of a clunky waltz. There's another funny rhyme here, knuckle and buckle. You got those K words in it, and any comedian will tell you that any K word is funny. And again, you've got the waltzing at the end. Look at the mother's countenance. Would the mother's countenance be a frown if she was really worried about her child? Or would it be perhaps a look of concern? I think that the mother's countenance being a frown indicates that she's not worried. She's just upset that they've undone the work that she's been on all day. And there's romping, you know, scraping his ear on his buckles, no big deal. He didn't cry out in pain. So, they're talking about the palm caked hard by dirt. I think that the father does very hard labor, and that not only toughens up and desensitizes his body in his hands, but also perhaps toughens him up emotionally, so that he needs to drink a little bit. He needs to romp with his son. It may be too rough, but rough is better than nothing. And then, of course, you have to figure out what this means at the end, still clinging to your shirt. My interpretation of the tone indicates that he's clinging to him because he loves him. But he's also clinging to him as the poet, Theodore Retke, looking back on this memory. He's clinging to this memory. He realizes it's complex. I hope you like this poem. It's a pretty good way to show tone in a poem.